Elon has actually done it. He has created the most powerful AI tool that I have ever used. So what I'm talking about is Grokbot, produced by SpaceX or Elon Musk, and it's essentially a software or an agent harness technically that enables you to run a team of always-on agents. So they have their own computer, they can tap into any tools and apps just like you do and work 24/7. So the very cool thing about this is that it's basically plug and play. Once you download Grokbot, you essentially have a team of agents and you can spin up basically infinite agents that all run on their own computer, which means they're always on. So I can, close my laptop, I can boot down my desktop here, and it's still going to be executing the task that I give it autonomously. It can tap into any model, so you're not obviously just limited to Grok. It can tap into the best Opus models. It can tap, or Claude models. It can tap into the best OpenAI models like GPT 5.6. So this, I think, is a big game changer for consumer AI, because the problem with OpenCore and the problem with Hermes Agent is obviously they were great once you could set them up, but the setup process had a lot of friction, and even the configuration process to continuously update memory, skills, and keep things organized, that also required a lot of effort. Whereas the way to think about this is it's an all-in-one solution. So I actually asked Oscar, who is one of my assistants here, on Grokbot to explain how Grokbot works, just so you can have more information. He said that I'm essentially a persistent assistant that lives in this chat. I remember things across conversations. So similar to Hermes, how you have the memory across multiple conversations, it can tap into all of that context. So this does save you from having to carefully manicure memory.md files. I still recommend that you do it with this, but this is a system that you can basically spin up from scratch, not have to worry about memory, and then kind of work on that as you go. It can actually do work. Obviously, it has its own computer, so it can browse, run stuff, make files, and importantly, it can keep going while I'm away because it has its own computer, so it can open sites, run commands, save files, etc. And it can do it, for you because it has its own computer, even if your computer's turned off. So when you interface with the model, it's basically using a conversation model, but when it goes to do a task, it taps into Cursor VM, so it can basically pass on any model ID from Cursor's catalog. So, Claude, GPT, Grok, Gemini, Kimi, GLM, Composer, pretty much whatever model you want to use. So you can tap into all of the frontier intelligence. Now, it's only been a day since I've been using it, and I'll show you my workflows, but a lot of other smart people have come out and said that they love it. Zero Hedge says, impressive how much better Grokbot is than Cowork, not just faster, cheaper, and more efficient, but never talks back or refuses to do work. Nick Dobos said he's been using Grokbot for a few days. They leapfrog Codex app and Claude Code entirely, Superhub 2.0. Grokbot's marketing is completely wrong and misleading. It's not an easy, normie-friendly chat. Don't pay attention to the bot or chat UX. That's not the point. Grokbot is actually the highest difficulty, most powerful, and highest skill cap agent harness by far. And that's something worth touching on. This is not just a chat. Of course, it has chat capabilities, but it's an agent harness. So it can tap into other models and it can orchestrate work while you're away from the computer. So if I want to have a quick conversation or if I want to brainstorm, I'm probably still going to use Claude, probably still going to use GPT. Instead, how I'm using it is a team of agentic employees that can do things on my behalf, work that I need done overnight. That is how I'm using it because it's an agent harness. A harness is essentially the packaging, the vehicle, the UI for you to interact with agents. Yes, I know the comments are going to say this is expensive. It is. This isn't a completely normie-friendly product yet. This is more of a sneak peek for what is going to be available to the average consumer in the future. And if you are willing to pay for it, this is a frontier level product